How did you come up with a name? I think that's a big question that a lot of people have, and they kind of get stuck in this step of like, I don't know what to name it, so I'm not gonna do anything. What is one practice or habit that you have that allows you to stay sane and to stay content?
Or use some of this traveling as a tax deduction. So what I want to do is...
I am so excited. Today is the first episode of Entrepreneurship Diaries. This is a series that I'm going to do where I interview different entrepreneurs at different stages of their journey so that we can learn from them, we can get inspired by them. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next interview. I have some pretty epic entrepreneurs lined up. This first episode happens to be with my sister, Cristina. She's such a badass and she's starting her business, and we talked about everything from naming her business as well as the dynamic between having a full-time job and actually loving that job while still starting a business. So we talked about a lot of stuff. I think you're gonna really enjoy it. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Es que me está cortando la cabeza.
No, pero sí sales.
Hasta para abajo.
Esto es
Es que te está cortando la cabeza.
¿A mí?
In this series, I'm going to be interviewing different entrepreneurs that are in different phases of their journey, and I'm really excited about today because it's a special one. She hasn't restarted her business yet, but she'll tell you all about that. So Cristi, if you could first introduce yourself, where you're from, how did you end up here on this couch with me?
So hi everyone, my name is Cristina, and as she said, I am her sister. I was born in Chula Vista in San Diego, California, and I grew up in Rosarito, right across the border. So right now we are in Alaska, but on a daily basis, I am a counselor and I help students figure out what they want to do for the rest of their lives. So I do academic, career, and personal counseling. That is my day job. But I felt like I needed to do something that was a little bit outside of the norm and focus a little bit on something that I am passionate about, which is traveling. So that is, I think, my business idea in something that I've been working on already.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about that business idea?
Yes, of course. So I've been traveling a lot for the last... I would say like 15 years. So I've been to almost, I think about 35 countries. I need to recount them, but about 35 countries. And every time that I go to a country, there's certain things that I am looking for in my research that I haven't been able to find out there, or I have to look in multiple sources. So what I want to do is cater to the demographics that I am, which is millennial, Latina, that shares these two cultures of like American and Mexican culture, and that travels with a different perspective, a consciousness of culture, a consciousness of people and food and sustainability. So I'm trying to market all of that together and already use some of the content that I have been gathering throughout the last 15 years and my knowledge of traveling and people, so that I can present that to folks who are also interested in traveling as me, not just for a pretty picture, but also for a sense of the place that you're traveling.
Yes. And I think a lot of us have tried to look for this online as to like, I don't want to just know where to go, but like how to actually experience the place that I'm visiting through its people, through its food, through its culture, because it's not all about just sightseeing when you're traveling, right? So where are you right now as far as your business?
Well, I am in the planning phases. So I already came up.
Exciting phases.
Yes, I already came up with some possible names. I do have to secure a website, and I already started some of the planning in the background stuff. So I wanted to figure out which countries did I want to start first. So I am working with somebody that's better than me at technology and using social media, which is my niece.
Yay, shout out, Bree.
Yeah, because I needed to connect with somebody that's more familiar with the algorithms and what's trending and all that stuff.
She's Gen Z.
She's already working with other social media influencers. And so we narrowed down what type of influencing do I want to do. So we talked about blogging and Instagram because that's the population that I want to work with. I do not want to work with TikTokers. That's not my thing.
Tiki-taki.
No tiki-taki for me.
Nope.
And I wanted to make sure that certain information is portrayed. So working with her, we narrowed down at least 7 of the countries that we're going to start off with. And the next steps is filing my DBA, which I know all about DBA because of this girl, and and getting my website secured.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so that sounds all really exciting. How did you come up with a name? I think that's a big question that a lot of people have, and they kind of get stuck in this step of like, I don't know what to name it, so I'm not going to do anything.
Well, I talked to her. So I'm not a very creative person in certain ways. I'm not a very creative person, and I knew what I wanted the name to represent, but I wasn't sure how to get there. So what I did is I went to ChatGPT and I just inputted a couple of pieces of information that I thought would reflect what I'm looking for, which is the mission and the vision of what I want to do. So I'm a Latina, I'm traveling, I want to put in the forefront culture, people, food. It is okay if some of the words are in Spanish. So I did 2 searches, one in English, one in Spanish, and then one in combined. And then from those, and I also told ChatGPT specifically,
It's not a person.
told it that I wanted 10 options, because if not, it gives you millions of options. And so from those options, I discussed it with my partner and we selected 4 or 5. And then I pulled it with the people that follow me already in my personal Instagram. I find that in my personal Instagram, I have already supporters and folks who are consistently asking me about my travels. And so I thought it was a good place to start. So I did a poll, and then from there, I selected the name for my business.
Do you want to tell us what that name is or not yet?
Okay, I'm ready. It is Latina Exploradora, traveling with conciencia y sabor.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of long.
I like it.
But,
well, the
Latina Exploradora is the main one. So, soon, hopefully by the time this is posted, you can start following me on Instagram.
Yes, I'll put it in the description if she did it. Okay, and then is there anything that scares you about entrepreneurship?
Oh, of course. There's so many things that I don't understand, so many things that I have no idea if it's going to work, it's not going to work. I also had a meeting with my tax person to make sure that how would this work and how can I prepare best so that I can keep my things separate, my personal versus my business expenses. So I covered that with her, in addition to just having a little bit more consciousness in the way that I do things and I plan things. But I am a little scared just because I've never had a business and I don't know all that it entails.
Yeah. And what do you think is the most exciting part about potentially this business working?
For me, it's just really hopefully helping other travelers and people that look like me, people that maybe are a little bit older. I'm 35, right? And that are traveling all over the world. So just being that representation potentially, and people that don't necessarily travel for the Instagram fame, but is traveling for understanding and experiencing different things, different people.
Okay, so at Menos Waste, our motto is Poquito goes a long way. So as you try to balance your full-time job and your new entrepreneurial venture, what is one practice or habit that you have that allows you to stay sane and to stay content in life while not burning out?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it has to do with purpose, right? So why it is that I do things. I am fortunate enough to have a job that I love and that feeds me and that nurtures me, and that every day I go into work happy. I enjoy what I do. I would like for this extra business to be part of that. So the moment I feel that the joy for traveling or the joy for creating content is not bringing me joy or happiness, then maybe it's not a time for me to continue, or maybe take a break. So it just really depends. I'm even thinking right now to just start off with the content that I have instead of going and creating more content, so that I don't overwhelm myself.
That's smart.
Right, because I already have enough. Let's start there, and let's not put the pressure on continuously creating more and creating more. So just understanding what's the reasoning behind I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the moment that shifts, reevaluating.
Yeah, so checking in with yourself seems to be that habit here. And actually, let's dive into that a little bit more, because you do have a full-time job and you do enjoy it. A lot of people start businesses because they don't want to be in the job that they're in and they're trying to escape. But you love your job. So that's an interesting thing. Have you ever thought of like you're maybe taking away from your full-time job, like your attention in a way?
Not necessarily. And the reason is because I already travel a lot, and I do have the time and thankfully the ability to do it. And I was just looking for a way to profit from something that I already do and enjoy. So if I'm already traveling, I'm already creating content, how do I profit from that, and then potentially save some money and use some of this, I don't know where that accent came from, but use some of this traveling as a tax deduction, right? Yeah. And so just making my travels profitable. That was kind of where I got the idea of creating this content. And just for future reference, when I had the conversation with my tax person, what she mentioned is that I have to have at least 2 sponsors in order for me to be able to deduct some of my travels. And I obviously have to create the page, and I have to create the blog and all of that, so that it's an established business, and including doing the DBA or filing the DBA at the county. And so having all of that aligned so that I can say this is a business, this is a growing business. So how am I going to show that is a growing business is by increasing my followers and increasing potential sponsorships.
Yes. So a lot of people scare away from deducting things for their business or writing off certain business expenses because they're not a profitable business. But actually with the IRS, as you were mentioning, you just have to be showing growth and showing that you are trying, essentially. So if the IRS comes to Cristina and be like, hey, you've been losing money actually in your business for years, but they go onto her website and the website is up to date and the Instagram is still posted last week, and things like that, they can't say anything because you're actually working on your business. So it's a little tidbit. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for Latina Exploradora because I'm also a traveler myself. This is why we're in Alaska, right? That's like kind of a random thing. But here we are, and this is why I wanted to record this while we were in Alaska, because it kind of shows off why she started her business. It kind of shows off that I'm actually able to write off this trip because, I'm using it for content. It was important for me to do it in a different place than San Diego, right? So everybody wins.
I'm winning.
We're winning. Okay, well, thank you so much for being my first entrepreneur on this. This was kind of our test run. And I'm really excited for the next ones because I feel like I learned so much just from you being still in the planning phases, right? A lot of people watching right now are not yet even in the planning phase. They're kind of just thinking about it. There's a little seed planted there, and I hope this inspires them to take the next step. So, thanks.
See you in Latina Exploradora.
Ooh! Nice.